What do you call a feminist comedian? Not funny. One such feminist comedian is Gabby Dunn, a BuzzFeed bobblehead who recently went on a show with fellow BuzzFeed bobbleheads to talk about street harassment.
Cosmopolitan magazine on their YouTube channel did a video similar to the one that came out last year of the street harassment, but this time we had girls walking through New York getting catcalled, and then their boyfriends watched the reaction video.
Not only is Gabby Dunn the living embodiment of my personal racism against white Southern Californians who will unironically talk about equality issues while tweeting from their iPhone, she's given me a great chance to unveil my new thought experiment I like to call Apes Law.
For me, a lot of the problem with the video comes from the idea that men should only care about street harassment if it's happening to a woman they know.
Because all women are entitled to male protection.
You're saying to a woman on the street, hey, how are you? That woman doesn't know if she replies and then she's inviting you into her space, or if she doesn't reply and then you're like, you're a fucking bitch, and you kill her. Like,
let's just ignore the fact that men are more likely to be the victims of all violent crime, that 4 out of 5 murder victims are men, and that women are the overwhelming cause and initiator of violence against children, child fatalities, and non-reciprocal domestic violence. And just think how fucking stupid this is.
And you're like, you're a fucking bitch, and you kill her. Like,
you're a fucking bitch and you kill her. Like,
what kind of fucking world does this woman live in where this has ever happened? Where a man walks up to a woman and says hello, the woman doesn't say hi back, and he kills her in broad daylight.
Dude, women are just constantly patting themselves on the back about how difficult their lives are, and no one corrects them because they want to them.
I think it brings up an interesting point about consent, right? If you feel in every situation like having sex, let's say you're walking down the street. Sometimes I've been walking down the street hysterically crying because my cat was missing, and a man came up and was like, hey, what's up? Why are you crying? Can I talk to you? Like,
hey, what's up? Why are you crying? Can I talk to you? Like,
yeah, what if he was trying to be sweet to get into you? Like, hey, pretty lady, why are you crying?
That's not
he's
the right time, I think.
He's not entitled to my time, honestly.
not entitled to my time.
Imagine a world where black people have to get the consent of white people before approaching them. Where white people didn't feel like black people were human enough to even deserve a response from them.
Not entitled to my time.
There's a term for this, by the way, and it's called sumptuary laws. The same laws that demand peasants avert their eyes from royalty because their gaze is somehow harmful.
And no one corrects them because they want to them.
But let's move on from her. She's triggered my prejudices enough. Let's move to Rachel Repeat, a small-time YouTuber who is not a feminist, but gives us yet more opportunities to perform this mental experiment.
Good communication also has 2 parts to it: intentional expression and intentional listening.
Her reply to the original BuzzFeed video starts out pretty great, talking about how good communication requires both parties to listen and express themselves.
It's not wrong for you to try to smile at somebody to see if they'll smile back at you. But if you're gonna freak out if they don't, it is your responsibility to leave people alone until you can get yourself balanced and figure it out again.
This is such a good point, but it would have been better if she hadn't said in almost the next sentence,
some of us have triggers from the way that other people have been jerks to us before. She might just have a trigger. Women, we have a lot of responsibilities. I understand that being that some people have triggers, not everybody is ready to be part of the solution when they're still healing. So if you're still healing, please excuse yourself from feeling responsible. Please excuse yourself from feeling responsible.
In the 21st century, feminism is about special privileges and advantages for women and special exemptions from responsibility.
Please excuse yourself from feeling responsible.
Let's just ignore for a moment that according to the APA, men experience more traumatic events on average than women, and yet women are twice as likely to be diagnosed with PTSD. And whether or not this is because women are just as a gender emotionally weaker than men, or if women are taught harmful emotional reaction techniques, like how they should.
Please excuse yourself from feeling responsible.
Which gives women absolutely no incentive to improve themselves or even try to heal themselves. Let's just ask the question. What would it be like if black people were literally legally responsible for every reaction that any triggered white person had towards them? If a white person could do whatever she wanted, say whatever she wanted, and act however she wanted to a black person without any guilt, any condemnation for being rude, or any legal ramifications if they decided to kill that black person.
But for those women who do feel that they are ready to be a part of this solution, it's important for us to be aware of our triggers. And just that awareness will help you have better judgment of the people that you interact with, to know when somebody needs to be corrected and when somebody might just be stepping a little bit close to something that brings up a bad memory for you.
Women have absolutely no responsibility to feel empathy towards men at all. The only responsibility women have is towards themselves, so that they can
know when somebody needs to be corrected.
But at least Rachel agrees that Gabby is wrong in saying that women should be afraid of men.
However, I think it's important for us as women to be responsible about the perspective we take of the world, because it influences the actions we take in the world.
Not because these actions might be rude, hostile, antagonistic, or mean to men. Not because their reactions to men might be harmful somehow. The only reason she cares about women's perspective of the world is because it harms women.
If we are actively trying to feel entitled to the space that we take up, do we not also feel entitled to our own voice and expressing our entitlement to this space? Entitled to.
All women are entitled to male empathy. Women are entitled to male respect. Women are entitled to public space. But do they have to show any empathy towards men? Are they responsible for their actions towards men? No. Women are simply entitled to all of these things. Men are required to act like adults, and women are protected and treated like children. Thanks, feminism.
Let me be clear. You are entitled to nothing. You are entitled to nothing.